Our presentation is about the expansion of Costco wholesale into Ireland, Qatar, and Brazil. The team members are John Brazawa, Grace Gold, and Andrew Ross.
So first, Costco as a company. Costco is self-described as a, quote, membership warehouse club dedicated to bringing our members the best possible prices on quality brand name merchandise. It is headquartered in Washington, where they opened their first store in 1983. Costco currently operates in 12 countries, including those within the Eurozone. They have been very successful internationally and have been looking at more places to expand into. Their net sales stand around $150 billion a year, and they employ around 250,000 employees. Parts of Costco as a company not related to their warehouses include gas, travel, and pharmacy, as well as the original Kirkland brand.
The biggest global competitor for Costco is currently Sam's Club. Sam's Club has a similar members-only retail warehouse style as Costco. Sam's Club is headquartered in Arkansas, and they are also a subsidiary of Walmart. However, they do have far less of a global outreach than Costco. They are located in only 4 countries: the US, Mexico, China, and Brazil. Sam's Club's total revenue for fiscal year 2018 was only $59 billion. They employ about 40,000 employees. They have recently had some turmoil as 63 stores were liquidated. 10 stores were transformed into e-commerce distribution centers. Walmart is in the process of trying to compete with Amazon in this market. The first country we decided to look at as a possible location for Costco to expand into is the Republic of Ireland. Their population falls just around 5 million people, with a GDP per capita of about $73,200. Therefore, there's high amounts of disposable income. Ireland also has the largest birth rate in the EU, being commonly known for large families. The most common language spoken is English, yet the country is largely very ethnically Irish. The euro is used as currency. Ireland is well known for having a low corporation tax rate, which makes it attractive to foreign companies. There are currently low inflation rates, but there is a concern from EU countries about the impact of Brexit on the euro. In relation to COVID, Ireland implemented proactive measures to bolster the healthcare system and implement social distancing guidelines. Compared to England, they have fared far better and likely will continue to see substantially less deaths. This will lead to a far less impact on their economy. Ireland is an industrialized and developed nation. There is adequate infrastructure for a company like Costco to thrive in. Currently, the most popular grocery stores are Tesco, SuperValu, Dunnes, Lidl, and Aldi. There seemed to be a lack for any popular wholesale markets in the Irish economy so far. This makes it a strong contender for Costco.
Qatar was chosen originally because of its high per capita GDP. There are 2 major cities in Qatar: Doha, the capital city, in which 80% of people live, and Al Khor to the north, with a population of 32,000 people. In a practical sense, we find that such urban areas are unfit for wholesale warehouse, especially one which exists in Qatar, which has such a small area of populated land. There are only 2 roads that exit the country, the Salwa and the Qatar-UAE road. This would present a logistical issue, of course, for selling goods in bulk, as such clustered traffic would make an inefficient way to transport merchandise. The political economy of Qatar is fascinating. 70% of government revenue and 60% of the country's GDP come from oil and natural gas. This may be tempting, as such a prosperous domestic economy would normally present great opportunities for international expansion. But Qatar is a bit more complex. Qatar has an extremely low population of its own citizens, with foreign workers coming in to participate in the problematic kafala system, something that many consider akin to modern indentured servitude. This would not only be a poor moral move for Costco, but has also the potential to topple the labor system entirely, making the labor market fairly unstable. Given the charming way Costco often treats their employees, such a system would not serve either party very well. Coronavirus hasn't been without its impacts on Qatar either. Refugee camps and unemployed foreign workers are all at risk of the virus, as it's taken a large toll on their population specifically. Given the country's proximity to Saudi Arabia and the unreliability of oil right now, the country can hardly be considered a good fit for a Costco.
The last country we looked into for possible entry for Costco was Brazil. Brazil is a Portuguese-speaking country in South America and is the fifth largest country in the world. Its population stands at about 211 million, making it the sixth most populous nation on Earth. Brazil is an extremely ethnically diverse nation with a colonial history mixing together Europeans, Africans, the indigenous populations, and a large amount of Asian immigrants, especially from Japan. The majority of the population resides on the coast, and the southeast regions would prove ideal for possible entry as they are the wealthiest and include major coastal cities like Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo. Brazil has the world's ninth largest economy, and its GDP per capita is about 8,900, though is nearly double that at 16,000 when adjusted for purchasing power parity. The currency used in Brazil is the Brazilian real. Even so, with the ongoing development in the country, consumerism has become a major defining characteristic of contemporary Brazil and would suit the interests of Costco operations well. Costco is currently a mixed economy, and it continues to liberalize, albeit slower than many would like. Its major economic sectors include agriculture, lumber, mining, and a growing financial sector based out of Sao Paulo. Competitors within Brazil include Walmart, Sam's Club, Carrefour, and Grupo Casino. Tesco tried to enter in the early 2000s by acquiring Bumbreco, but eventually was bought out by Walmart instead. Brazil is currently in the midst of recovering from a harsh economic recession in 2014, and the current state of the global economy as a result of the COVID pandemic has not helped the situation there. More on the topic of COVID-19, Brazil has seen a significant amount of cases thus far, as has much of the world. The biggest issue, however, with Brazil is President Bolsonaro's lackluster response and outright denial of the threat of the virus altogether. Strict measures to combat the spread of COVID are practically absent in Brazil, so the impact of the virus could be far greater than elsewhere in the world. This creates a lot of uncertainty moving forward and results in a much more risky environment in the near future. As a result of this, and the ongoing recession that continues from 2014 and has recently worsened, it may be wise to put any plans of expansion for Costco into Brazil on hold.
The main critical issue for Costco will be the future growth and infiltration into foreign markets. Currently, Costco has been thriving both domestically and internationally, so it's clear that they're looking to continue this prosperity. There are a lot of untapped markets in the membership warehouse design because the only real direct competitor is Sam's Club, which doesn't have large global outreach. During the corona outbreak, Costco, like every country, has taken a financial hit, although it may not be as bad as other countries, as Costco has profited off of familial stockpiling. This may prevent further international infiltration for a while, but if they have enough capital, they could take advantage of likely low land cost in other countries following this outbreak.
So, considering everything, Ireland was chosen as the best country to enter from the other two. Standards of living in Ireland continue to rise, and Ireland has been referred to as the Celtic tiger in reference to the miracle of its economic growth. The Irish market provides a lot of opportunity for Costco in this sense, as its population is becoming wealthier and wealthier every year. Looking at the political situation with the UK and European Union, Brexit actually provides opportunity for Costco, in a sense. The second largest wholesale store in the world, Tesco, is based in the UK and would be the main competitor in Ireland with Costco. With Britain's exit from the common European market, Tesco and Costco would now both be international competitors within Ireland, rather than Costco having to compete with them as a local competitor. With regards to COVID-19, Ireland has done an excellent job containing the spread of the virus. Ireland implemented strict countermeasures almost immediately and has proven quite effective in combating the virus. Additionally, its geographic position as an island allows it to more easily control who comes in and who leaves, thus increasing its ability to protect against further COVID outbreaks across the globe in the future. Now, comparing Ireland to Qatar, Qatar has an extremely small population and limited market. As mentioned earlier, while consumerism is a defining characteristic of the wealthy Qatari people, the majority of the population are actually migrant workers living on very little and primarily residing in refugee or working camps. Also, logistical issues with limited road access will lead to difficulties with transporting bulk wholesale products, thus straining the supply chain for Costco stores and increasing transportation costs that would not be present in other countries. Compared to Brazil, on the other hand, Brazil has had a history of wholesale companies struggling to enter the market. Walmart expanded rapidly in the 2000s, but then had to close the majority of its stores, Sam's Club included, as they were not as profitable as originally supposed. Tesco attempted to enter Brazil, but failed in 2004 as well. Additionally, poor infrastructure and geography make expansion deeper into Brazil difficult. With regards to COVID-19, as mentioned, Brazil has mismanaged the pandemic extensively. This will lead to a hostile business environment for stores, including a potential Costco for the near future, thus making it less attractive than it would be otherwise.
Much like the physical geography of Ireland, we'll be using the Greenfield Investment Entry Strategy. Realistically, there are no warehouse stores we could target, and so we would need to build it from the ground up. We would hire locals to staff the warehouse, offering the typical lucrative benefits of working at a Costco, like memberships for friends and family. This would also help to spread the notoriety of Costco, as we would have a membership base automatically. It would also help fill a gap that exists in Ireland because the country is growing and many live in the middle-class lifestyle that's suited for a brand new company. Our approach would also be conscious of the coronavirus, in the sense that we would follow all the necessary precautions to maintain Ireland's excellent track record thus far. Lastly, a partnership with Layden's would ensure that supply chain is taken care of, and would tackle some nuances with which an American purchasing department would probably struggle.
We have chosen to put a Costco in Cork, Ireland, because it is the second largest city in Ireland, and it is hailed as the most business-friendly small city in Europe. We would use a transnational strategy when setting up this new Costco. Clearly, we would be conscious of local regulations and traditions. We want to have high local responsiveness in relation to the products sold. Historically, Costco has about 2/3 of the products sold in the warehouse having been originated in the country where the Costco is located. There will also be high levels of cost reduction, as Costco is a global competitor. The expertise of current Costcos throughout the world will be utilized as well. We would partner with existing firms for logistical items like purchasing from Layden's.
Thanks so much for tuning in. We hope you're all staying safe and healthy during this virus. There's a lot of unpredictable factors in hand. This was our presentation, and we hope you enjoyed.